Hi guys, welcome back to GarageTech. In this video I'm going to show you how to fit a oil catch tank to your Porsche Cayman. So this is the generation 2 3.4 S version. So obviously if you're watching in my previous videos you'll probably know why I'm fitting one of these oil catch tanks. Because we've got direct injection, you get a lot more carbon build-up on the back of the valves. All that carbon buildup comes from the blow-by gases, which then get passed back into the intake. It doesn't get cleaned off, and you get a lot of oily residue build-up. So I've already fitted a new air oil separator valve, and just to try and help the whole system, I'm going to fit a catch tank to it as well, because that air oil separator valve is never going to filter out all of the oil particles. There's still going to be some getting through. So with this on there as well, hopefully that should just reduce the amount of carbon buildup kind of going forward. Now this is one of the Mishimoto eBay specials. The Mishimoto ones of these are around £80. I got this off eBay for about £15. So there's a massive saving difference, and actually they're basically exactly the same. Quality's okay, but actually when you open it up, it's pretty much got the same internal components as the other one. Now obviously there's various different ones you can get on the market. There's some of them that have like the little level gauge thing on the side. That's not really for me. I'm quite happy to open this up sporadically and clean it out. Obviously there isn't a huge amount there in terms of volume for it to collect, so it will be something that you need to get to quite regularly. So actually positioning where you put this needs to be quite important, because it needs to be somewhere accessible that you can actually get to. Obviously when it comes in the box, this is it. It's all it comes with. It doesn't come with any pipe work, which is a little bit frustrating, because then you need to get some of the bits of pipe. It's not too much of a problem, because then actually you can customize it and get the bits of pipe work that you actually need. So I'll show you what I've got and the way I've gone around it. Now just to bear in mind also, I've got the IPD plenum chamber on my engine, so it's slightly different if you've got the standard plenum chamber on there, and I'll explain the differences and potentially what you might need to do to yours if it's the standard one. Now when you get this, obviously you need to put these outlet ports on. You need to use some PTFE tape. So you can see I've got some around there on that bottom bolt. That's to help drain it out. If you want to use a drain, I'll just unscrew it, because I'll just want to unscrew it and clean it when I do it. But you need to put some of that tape around that bottom one, and then around the two at the top. And there's two seals that sit in there as well. And what you can just do is just blow through it and cover it up, just to make sure that obviously there doesn't feel like there's any kind of air leaking, and that needs to be tight. Now this is the mounting bracket. This is quite flexible. You can undo these two screws at the top. You can turn that round, so depending where you're going to mount it. I know roughly where I'm going to put it, but I haven't made a bracket up just yet to actually physically mount it permanently in place. I'm just going to use a cable tie for the time being, just so it's in the right position, so I'm happy and I'm comfortable that that's exactly where it's going to be. But this is the original pipe work from your crankcase ventilation system. So obviously this bit at the top is where it goes into the air oil separator valve, and then you've got the two parts of the pipe here which then go into that intake manifold part, or the pipe work, which is just after the throttle body. So to remove this, it's quite straightforward. You can see it's got two kind of clamping points there, and you just kind of squeeze that, and then that releases it to open it up. So obviously you've got two there, one at the top there. Now because I've got the IPD plenum chamber, it only has one outlet point that it uses, and then uses a like a block off cap. So when you fit yours, you are going to need to block off one of the two of these. So you can just use a bit of pipe with some sort of blocker in the end to stop using that end. Obviously I'll need to use some of my additional pipe work that I've got here. So I've removed one part of this, so I've just used a Stanley blade. I've gently cut across there, and that obviously just splits it, and then you can take it off. Now obviously this is not going to be able to be used again, so that's it then. If I wanted to go back to standard, I'd either have to purchase a new one of these or make up some separate pipe work. getting these from Porsche, these bits of pipe, they're not cheap for what they are, and you probably are just better off just buying some hose and doing a bit of a DIY job on it. Just to note that in here this does have a rubber seal, so just be careful. Obviously it's not particularly needed now, so I've taken this one off because it was slightly damaged where I went through it with the razor, but it's not an issue because I've also got the rubber pipe to go on there. And then this end, same again, just need to use a Stanley blade, cut there, and then that will come off. Okay, so now that's going to be the piece that I'm going to use to go in the side of my plenum, and then I'll use this one here then as my pipe, which comes out to go to the air oil separator valve up at that end. So this end will be blocked off. Just some of the other bits that I've got with to go along with this, because obviously I said it doesn't come with any pipe work, so I've just got a bit of pipe. Again, got this off of eBay, it's relatively cheap, £3 to £4. This is 10mm, this one, so it fits quite nicely over these bits there. Obviously I'll just use a little hose clamp, Jubilee clamp, to clamp those up. And as I mentioned, I've then got the 16mm hose for these end bits here, so that'll fit on quite nicely. Again, I'll put another little clamp around there to hold it nice and tight, but that one's 16mm, that's what I've gone for anyway. Then obviously, because I need to then go down from this 16mm to this 10mm, I've got a couple of these reducers, again off of eBay, relatively cheap, only a couple of quid. You can probably pick them up cheaper elsewhere if you really want to look around, but it was nice and easy. Again, so that just goes down from the 16mm down to 10mm, so perfect for my 2 bits of pipe. So I'll just put the camera up, as I said, and you can watch me go through it. I'm going to have to cut this up and put the routing around different ways, and we'll see where we'll get to at the end. Okay, so this is where obviously the original pipe sits, so it's plugged in at the back there in the air oil separator valve. It comes around this side, and then if you've got the standard manifold, it will plug into the part of the intake there, whereas on this IPD one you only have one port which it comes out of, which is there. So this one's blocked off, so that's okay, I'm happy with that. If you've got your standard one, as I said, you're probably going to need to block it off. So what I'm going to do is, as I said, I've taken this bit off now, and this one I'm going to continue to use this standard bit of pipe, so that will stay where it was in there, tuck under here. And what I'm going to do is, with my catch can, I'm going to mount it up in this position up over here. So I'm going to have to put together some sort of bracket to just attach it. So I'm probably going to try and attach it to this bolt hole here somehow. So I need to just try and figure out what I'm going to do with actually creating that bracket. But in the meantime, as I said, I'm just going to put a cable tie around it just to put it in place, and I'll sort the bracket out later. I just want to get everything kind of plumbed in place first. And that's probably for me the best place to put it. It's kind of out of the way. It's easy to get to. I don't really want to drain it from the bottom. I'd rather kind of just lift it up a bit and then unscrew it and take it out. I'm a bit tight for space over here, and there's not really anywhere to really bolt it to. So I'm going to go with that position over there. So what I'm going to do then, first off, with my longer, thinner pipe, because this is going to have to come into this one, because on your catch tank you've got the in and out, so it's in and out. So the in one is the one coming from the air oil separator, so that's going to come from over here. So I'm going to use some of the big pipe on there, feed that down through my reducer into my small pipe. I'm going to feed it up underneath and then up to the top, up into there, and then the big pipe I'll use obviously with that part I'll use the big pipe on there. I'm going to feed the big pipe, this part, up over to here, so it's going to run along by my gear shifter cables, then through the reducer and then into the little pipe up to there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll just run through it. It might take a bit of time. I'll probably fast forward through some of this, but it's just so you can go and see the whole process. Okay. Now, depending on, obviously, this IPD plenum is quite tight to get some of this small pipe under, but it just about does fit under, and I just want to just feed it through until it comes up over here. It's a bit tricky to get it out. So that'll go up to about there. And then what I'm going to do here is use some of this big pipe. Let's go on there through my reducer into that pipe there, and then I use the rest of the big pipe to go over from there up to there. So I've got 1/2 meter of this, and I've got 1 meter of the small. We might need a bit of WD-40 just to help you get these bits of pipe on. Probably going to be a bit tight. Very, very tight indeed. Right, managed to get that onto there. That is what I like to call FT. It's bloody tight. So that's as far as I can get it on. I don't want to try and force it anymore because I don't want to crack this plastic part. But I certainly don't need a clamp over there, because I can tell you that is not going to leak. You see, I've got that one in place now, so I just need to get this bit of pipe in here. I'll just pull this through a bit more just to give me some more room to get it onto there. And yeah. So that's on. Again, I certainly don't really need a hose clamp on there because that is really tight. Of course, if you want to put a hose clamp on there, you can do. I've got plenty of bits of hose clamp, so it's not going to be an issue to get one on there. I'm just going to leave it for that for now, just whilst I get the rest in place. So that's that so far. What I need now is just to get that pipe up to there. So I'll probably cut it about there. At least it gives me a bit of room to lift it up. And just in case I want to manoeuvre it somewhere else. The next part then is the other bit of the hose. So I'll start with this end. This is probably going to be the most difficult bit. Getting this on my nice big bit of hose. I'll try and get it at that sort of angle because the hose is obviously bending around that way already. So just make it easier. You can see just about there, can't really get much further because it's just getting a bit stuck there. So there we go. It's all relatively tight. I'll probably I'll stick a hose clamp around that one. Obviously that's just going to go from there to there. I could probably do with cutting perhaps a bit more off that, but I might just leave it the length it is for now. I'll see how I get on. I'm just going to put my other reducer in this part. If I can find it now. Lost it somewhere. So I'm just going to put my other bit of a reducer pipe in here. So that's in. So now I need to cut off just a small amount just to get onto there, and then that will go into there, and then we're all in place. Now I'll get this in this end first, because obviously this one was a lot tighter. That's it then, guys. So that's my oil catch tank in place. So I'll be making a bracket up to kind of secure it in that position there, but I will just stick a cable tie around it for the meantime. But you can see this is the intake part, so run it up through there, round up to this part up here. Just got a couple of Jubilee clips to put on here, and it goes into the original pipe. Obviously this bit is now blocked off. If you've got the standard manifold on there, then you'll need to block off the hole that will be left on this side, and block off then the bit of pipe that you've got left over there. And then from your part on this side then, as you can see, I've just used this big bit of pipe up round to there, through this reducer, then into my catch tank. Okay, so the last bit now, I've just fabricated and made up a little bracket just out of a bit of aluminium. So it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. What I wanted to try and avoid is drilling any new holes kind of in the bodywork. So I've managed to utilise this bolt hole at the top here. So when you put the cover on, that will bolt into that and hold it into place. So I've got it kind of nicely lined up there, so it should be pretty perfect when I put the top on. Of course, then I'll just use the standard bolt to screw that on. So obviously the cover that goes over the top will then bolt it and hold it in place. I've just moved that clamp round because it was quite close to that air conditioning pipe. So it's nice and free now. So it's got a bit of movement there. Obviously, when you're driving, there will be a bit of movement within the engine bay. So just to make sure there's no kind of rubbing on any other parts, which could cause any other damage. So that's it. That's my catch tank installed. I'll do some driving now, and in a couple of 100 miles time I'll open it up and I'll show you guys how much actual oil and fluid is in there after driving it for a while. But it should be nice and simple to get to now. So they're not going to hold a huge amount, so it needs to be in a position where you can get to it relatively easy. And obviously with that bolt out, as soon as I take the cover off, I can just lift this out, and then it'll be easy enough to just unscrew. Okay, so it should be easy enough for me to service, so I'm quite happy with that. Actually tighten that up and we're good to go. Okay guys, well, thanks for watching. As always, if you like these videos and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and take care.